Hello guys, welcome in. I am your host Ben, and this is Who's Clues. As this is episode 1, I'll tell you a bit about what to expect from the podcast. I'll be telling you a murder mystery, a whodunit, hence the name Who's Clues. I'll let you know about the setting, the events, the clues the detective will go through, and the characters. That's the most important. You'll be getting the victim, the detective, and obviously the suspects. Once we go through all of these details, we'll put your detective skills to the test, and you can try and figure out the murderer. I will then reveal and do the conclusion in the next episode. If you get it right, congratulations. If you get it wrong, don't worry about it. This isn't a training exercise to become a detective. We're here just for fun. Just a quick side note as well, this is all fiction. Any names or likeness is just purely coincidental. I mean, could you imagine if this actually happened? That would be pretty weird. We're solving real murders. But we're not. This is all fiction. Don't worry about it. So, without further ado, let's begin. This week's episode is titled Death in the Ivy. This is set in Blackwood College, an elite ancient university known for its sprawling ivy-covered buildings and prestigious faculty. It's the week of the annual Scholars Gala, an exclusive event attended by prominent academics and wealthy benefactors. The evening takes a dark turn when one of the most respected professors, Dr. Amelia Ashford, is found dead in her office, leading to a tangled investigation. So we have our characters. We have our victim, Amelia Ashford, a brilliant historian with a reputation for being ruthless in her academic pursuits. She was writing a controversial book that many believed could ruin several careers. We have Professor Michael Holt, a rival professor in the same department, charming, charismatic, but harbouring a grudge against Ashford for undermining his own academic work. Next is Clara Dane, Dr. Ashford's brilliant but overworked graduate assistant. She knows all of Ashford's secrets, but resents her demanding and abusive behaviour. Next, we have Charles Harrington, the university dean, a man of influence who has been quietly battling to keep scandals away from the school. He had pressured Ashford to stop her book project. Then we have Olivia Carter, a former student of Ashford's, now an investigative journalist. She returned to the gala under the guise of reconnecting, but had a deeper interest in Ashford's work. And finally, our detective, Sarah Quinn, an intelligent, no-nonsense investigator with ties to the university, called in to solve the case. So those are our characters and our setting. Let's get on with the events. It's a cold October evening at Blackwood College. The Scholars Gala is in full swing at the university's Grand Hall, while guests mingle and sip champagne. Dr. Amelia Ashford is notably absent, last seen heading to her office after an argument with a fellow professor. At midnight, the celebration is interrupted when a chilling scream echoes through the corridors. Clara Dane, Dr. Ashford's assistant, has discovered the professor's lifeless body in her office, slumped over her desk. Her eyes wide open in terror. A shattered glass tumbler lies nearby, and a faint smell of almonds lingers in the air. Detective Sarah Quinn is called in to investigate. The office, though seemingly undisturbed, hides secrets in its small details. There's a half-written letter on the desk, a missing notebook, and a subtle scent of death hanging in the air. Everyone at the gala is now a suspect. Let's get to the clues. The glass tumbler, broken on the floor. It suggests Ashford had been drinking before her death. Lab results later reveal traces of cyanide, a fast-acting poison. There's the half-finished letter, addressed to the university's board, which hints at Ashford's plan to expose a secret related to several faculty members, but the letter abruptly ends mid-sentence. There's Clara's missing notebook. Clara always kept meticulous notes on Ashford's research, But her notebook, the one containing details of Ashford's final book, had vanished. Clara swears it was in the office earlier that day. Next, we have several emails discovered from Dean Harrington in Ashford's inbox. It was pressuring her to abandon her controversial project. He had everything to lose if Ashford exposed what she knew about the university's hidden scandals. Let's not forget about the rival professor, Michael Holt. He had an ongoing feud with Ashford over funding and academic recognition. Ashford's new book allegedly disproved much of Holt's work, threatening his reputation and career. And the final clue, we have Olivia. She was once a promising student of Ashford's. She had a falling out, though, with the professor years ago. She returned to Blackwood with a mysterious agenda and was seen leaving the gala just before Ashford's body was found. Our detective then discovered key information about some of the guests. She discovered the assistant Clara, though loyal for years, had grown to despise Ashford's controlling and manipulative behaviour. She was on the verge of quitting, but Ashford had discovered Clara's plan to publish parts of her unfinished research under her own name. Clara had a strong motive for wanting her mentor out of the way, but denies any involvement. She discovered the rival Professor Holt had been deeply in debt and saw Ashford's book as the final nail in his academic coffin. However, when confronted, he admits to confronting Ashford, but claims he left her office after their argument, fearing his career was over, not her life. But would he risk murder to stop her? And finally, it was discovered Olivia Carter had been secretly investigating her former professor for an exposé. She had gathered evidence that Ashford had falsified parts of her research, and Ashford had found out. Olivia's return to the university was no coincidence. And this is where we'll end our tale. Now this is the part where I go a bit, who wants to be a millionaire? Is it A, Clara, the assistant? She did suffer through a lot of demanding and abusive behaviour from the victim. Without the victim, she could have published some of her work under her own name. Was it the rival professor, Professor Holt? He went into the office and confronted Ashford about her book. Was it Dean Harrington? He had a lot to lose, and he did send a lot of those threatening emails. And finally, Olivia. Could it have been her? Our victim found out a lot about Olivia's exposé and falsifying research on it. Well, you can email me the answers at whosclues.podcast@gmail.com. I'll try and read through them, see who gets it right and wrong. But like I said before, get it right, get it wrong, doesn't matter too much, this is all just for fun. And the murderer conclusion will all be revealed in the next episode. Thank you all very much for listening. Until next time, goodbye.